So Emily, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you on the show. Obviously, looking at the top line results, you're seeing increases across the board in verified users, transacting users, and also a huge increase in trading volume from 89 billion last quarter to 335 billion this quarter. What should we be taking away from that?
That the crypto economy is taking off and that Coinbase as a platform is taking advantage of that opportunity. It's just really cool to see this wave of activity, not only from retail users, but also from institutions. We haven't seen it in these types of droves before. And what I think you're seeing here is that there's just a lot more credibility in this space. We have really, really high quality institutions who want to participate, who see the opportunity and who are jumping on board.
Now, you've been a public company for a few weeks now, huge debut, but there's been a lot of volatility, yes, in the crypto space in general since then, but also in Coinbase shares. What's it been like being a public company, and what do you make of that volatility?
Welcome to crypto. It's a feature, not a bug in many ways, I think. And we were operating as a public company internally for so long. We're so used to this. We're looking at the long term. And so these blips, they don't faze us. And that's how you have to look at it as an employee or an investor. You're looking at the long-term opportunity and you kind of buckle up and go for it.
You're not providing much financial guidance. Why is that? And do you foresee a time when you might provide more guidance?
It goes exactly to your last question, Emily. It's about, this is a new nascent technology shift, much in the same way that the internet took a foothold and kind of changed people's lives fundamentally. And so with those tectonic technology shifts, you're going to see volatility. And so for us, we're not going to play that whole game of short-term quarterly management. It's just not the game we're playing. We're playing a long-term game. I can't foresee us doing the whole guidance thing because I think we just think that this whole industry and our company have such an incredible opportunity, and that we're not going to think about it in that kind of a quarterly way. We're going to think about it as a long-term game.
You cite the market uncertainty as part of the reason for limited guidance. What are the biggest question marks for you when you look at the market ahead?
It's about, how do we create the most user-friendly experiences for folks? I mean, in many ways, I always kind of say the analogy of like the old mobile phones, right? That like had these clunky interfaces. We're in kind of that phase of crypto. So we have to make it more usable. We have to make it more accessible. We have to have more regulatory certainty for certain folks to get off the sidelines and participate. But we are seeing so much participation now. We feel like there's just a great opportunity ahead of us.
Elon Musk just abruptly announced that Tesla will stop accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment. Crypto markets losing hundreds of millions of dollars just on the back of that tweet. What's your take on that? Is there something wrong with that picture?
There's so many misconceptions, I think, about the space. And I think there's something like 75% plus of miners are actually using renewable energy right now to mine. I welcome Elon and brilliant minds like him kind of seeding these dialogues, because I think it helps us drive forward more and more sustainable innovation. You're seeing right now, we're moving from a proof of work to a proof of stake type of mechanism. That's something like ETH2 and others are using. And when they do that, that's a way that we're driving more renewable energy. But in any case, I just want to say, like, I do think that there are a lot of other industries and devices that consume a lot more energy than Bitcoin. And so you have to put things into perspective, like Christmas lights and dryers and game consoles. So put things in perspective, but we want to have these dialogues and we want Elon to participate. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something bigger behind that.
That's interesting. Certainly we'll have to see. He was also just on SNL talking about Dogecoin, saying that it's a hustle. Unclear whether he was joking or whether he was serious. Either way, Doge market's reacting to that. Coinbase doesn't carry Doge on its platform. Are you at all reconsidering that? And why don't you carry Doge at this point?
We have a process where we list assets according to a framework that we've kind of pioneered called the digital asset listing process. And we look at a variety of different attributes of these different assets to make sure that we feel comfortable putting them on the platform, including security, including does it have a network, a bunch of different features. And then we score those assets and then we add them based on a bunch of those factors. We obviously see the demand for Doge. It's like, I think it was like one of the top questions we got even from investors for this quarterly earnings. And so you can imagine there's a world where it's top of mind for us and we'll have to add it. But you know, we're the Amazon of crypto assets. And so we're a platform, we're asset agnostic, and we're going to add as many of them as we can to the platform as quickly as we can. It's a huge focus for the company.
Meantime, you know, obviously Bitcoin, Ether, Doge still way up on the year. When you look at the market, do you see an overheated market? Or do you see bubbles within the market?
We don't look at it that way. We look at just, we want to use these periods to kind of, you know, really just think about the long term. So we say, okay, there's a bunch of assets that are taking off. There's a bunch of features that are taking off. We want to use this momentum to continue to invest in the business. And what's funny is even when the crypto markets are way down, we still look at it that way. You'll see in the shareholder letter that we've published that we talk about how we did a major acquisition, Zappo, during a time when the market was very, very down. And it was an unintuitive move for us to make. And it helps cement our place as the leading crypto custodian in the world. So it's like, we truly, the way that we operate is you can't kind of get too hyped up or too sad during the bad times, because we believe in this kind of generational company that we're building. And then over the longer term, it's just going to keep going up and up.
Bloomberg is reporting that the DOJ and the IRS are asking for more information from Binance, which is another crypto exchange. You've got the SEC looking into which coins are coins and which aren't coins. What are you expecting from the new SEC and this regulatory environment? Do you expect to see some changes ahead?
Our foundation was built on a heritage of regulatory compliance, leaning in with regulators. Again, a very unintuitive move to have made when our founders co-founded the company. And because of that, we have a front door to these types of relationships. We have ongoing dialogues with the regulators to kind of think about that right mix of how do we make sure we're always protecting the customer and being on the side of the customer first and foremost. And also at the same time, making sure that we're pushing innovation forward and we're not kind of unconsciously stifling anything that could be the next big technology frontier. So for us, you know, we view regulatory as something, as a competitive advantage for Coinbase, and it's something that we'll continue to invest in. We think that regulators understand the opportunity here, and we're going to work with them to kind of craft out what looks right.
Meantime, of course, Coinbase is the dominant crypto exchange, but there's new competition, it seems like, every week. Block.one just announced a new exchange, $10 billion in liquidity. There's the DeFi movement. There's traditional banks. There's PayPal, Robinhood, trying to offer the services that you offer. How do you stay ahead of the competition? Does that involve changing up your fees potentially going forward?
We look at ourselves as the best of all worlds. So if you think about the traditional financial world, those folks are going to be fantastic at traditional financial mechanisms. They are not going to be amazing at being on the kind of crypto forward spectrum of pushing innovation forward. And in many cases, we will be able to power many of their crypto experiences. We can partner with them. On the crypto forward frontier, if you think about, you know, the Binances and others of the world, they are launching features and adding assets like nobody's business. But because they are on the kind of bleeding edge of crypto, they don't have those fiat to crypto bridges that we enable. So we think that we offer folks the ability to get into crypto and then to stay in crypto. If you think back to like something like when the digital revolution first happened, and you have Sears saying, and these kind of old school companies saying, we'll have digital as a feature. We don't think that that's a winning strategy. It hasn't proven to be a winning strategy. Crypto first and crypto forward is what we're all about. And we think we're going to win on that.
Meantime, Coinbase is working with a lot more institutional players holding their crypto holdings as a custodian. How much do you think that's going to drive growth in the future?
It's a huge source of growth for us. We have a land and expand strategy. I think that the retail brand was cool. It laid this amazing foundation for us, and we continue to invest heavily in that because we think there's a ton of more features and assets that we can expose retail users to. Sometimes they come in the front door through, I want to buy a Bitcoin, and then over time they learn more about other assets that they want to buy. They might want to stake an asset. They can do all sorts of interesting things within Coinbase. On the institutional side, folks are coming in often to make their first large Bitcoin buy, and then they custody their assets with us. And then they want to be exposed to more assets. And maybe they want to think about other services that we offer, including the prime brokerage services we offer. They want to be able to earn something on the funds that they're holding with us. So we see a huge opportunity there, and our team is just really excited about the opportunity.
And what are your plans for international expansion?
It is one of the topmost things that we discuss internally. It is top of mind for us because crypto is a global phenomenon, right? Our mission is to create economic opportunity for everybody in the world and to create economic freedom for everyone in the world. And that's a lofty, lofty mission statement. And so we need to figure out how we are truly a global company. Crypto is global, it's 24/7. It has such unique features. And so for us to kind of be out there, we need to kind of go very, very aggressive on the global opportunity. And we think that it's going to be a big thing for us. So we spend 50% plus of our time working on the global opportunity.
Well, and speaking of the opportunity and managing the workforce here at home, Coinbase is getting rid of its San Francisco headquarters. You are going remote only. How is that going to work? I know you'll still have some spaces for folks who do want to come into the office, but it'll be a smaller network of offices. Will you be working with WeWork, or will there be some other strategy to manage this transition?
Yeah, the way that we think about it is we used to have this very centralized headquarters that everybody had to come into, and now it's really at the employee's option where they want to work. So perhaps they want to work from home. That's awesome. Perhaps they want to work we work close to their office, so we'll give them a credit for that. Or there might be just little microsites that we provide, little experiences in different geos where we have a strong group of employees who want to kind of get together. There's all sorts of interesting things you can do in this remote world. So perhaps with the savings we have from not having that San Francisco lease, we can have more fun off-site and relationship building activities that we can fund. It's a new world, and we're kind of excited to just experiment a bit.